Thank you so much for joining us. This is CGTN live streaming. I'm Sun Ye in Beijing, and
I'm Owen Fishwick from China Daily.
so if you've been reading what we are going to do today, we are here in the middle of the drum and bell towers. That's the starting point of Beijing's central axis. Now, the drum and bell towers, as you can you probably get an idea from its name, each has a drum and a bell. So behind me, this is the bell tower. If you look up a little bit, you'll be seeing a giant bell in the middle of the second story. And the bell tower and the drum tower, they used to be responsible for the entire Beijing's timekeeping. So the bell will sound, the drums will sound whenever they are needed to tell the time. And they've been here, the two towers we've been seeing, they've been here for at least 600 years. They are exactly 600 years old today, actually. And that is the bell tower. And what we are standing is now, what is really a little park right now, and a lot of people are having fun here every day. But before, it was usually only the court soldiers are able to walk around. Today, we will not be able to go into the bell tower because it's under preservation, but we will be able to go into the drum tower, where one of the highlights I'm going to giving you right now is that we are going to see a drum dance that's fair to say amazing, right? Yeah. And today, as we're in a marathon kind of live streaming that goes along the central axis, this is happening really on a very special day, right?
Yes, well, this is the Natural and Cultural Heritage Day. It's a very important day to celebrate China's historic relics, its culture, and also the preservation of those things. And because it's very important that younger generations especially learn about their history and their culture and learn to love and appreciate these beautiful buildings.
And I gather that you've been here a lot, and you have actually covered on the cultural preservation bit a bit. So, I mean, what are the things we've been doing that impressed you, actually?
Well, one of the things that most impresses me is the integration of technology with cultural relics. Because, you know, some people might see cultural relics as being a bit old and fusty, and only old people are into things like that. But involving technology, you know, AI, VR, digital services, encourages more young people to get involved with their history and culture.
And we're kind of doing that kind of thing. We're giving a virtual tour of the central axis today, and we are going to give you the virtual tour into Beijing's drum tower today. Now, the drum tower and the bell tower, they are now scenic spots. You know, people can go in, but because of the pandemic, Beijing is not really out of the woods yet. It's not open to the public yet, but we hope it will be soon. And oh, right, there is one thing. Today we are going to be joined by one of the best person to tell us about the history, preservation, and the significance of the central axis and the drum and bell tower. So if you have any questions, reach out to us across the social platforms. So now, again, we are at the starting point of Beijing's central axis, and we are here at the drum and bell tower. We are going to go in the drum tower, which is 600 years old. Owen, why don't you push that open?
Okay, should I knock first, or?
Let's see if someone is going to answer us.
No, let me
let's go in.
It's quite heavy.
Oh
my.
Oh, so that's the drum tower.
Okay, wow.
You've been here how many times?
Well, actually, I've never been inside the drum tower, but I've seen it from from the neighbourhoods around here, from in the hutongs, because it's the tallest building in this area. So it looms over the community as like a symbol of the past, a cherished symbol of the past.
Yeah, it's. I know it's over 45 meters tall, but it's more than just a number, right?
Yeah, I think it's the tallest wooden structure in Beijing, as far as I can recall. I mean, it's predominantly wooden, isn't it? So all the eaves and columns are all made of wood, which I would believe would be hundreds of years old. So a lot of work needs to be done to ensure that it remains, structurally, it's got its structural integrity still there. It's a pretty impressive building.
Right, and the other thing I know about the two structures, the drum tower, is that when it was the tallest building in the city of Beijing, it's actually done on purpose so that the drums and the bells, the sound of them can go really far. And I have heard about one historical record. They say when we don't have that much noise back then, so the sound can actually travel for 20 kilometers at its best.
Yeah, of course. Well, you wouldn't have the noise of traffic and cars and things like that.
Yeah, and then the other thing I know from the sound effects is that actually the bell tower, the bells, they sound a little bit louder. But the drums, we're actually going to see a drumming performance later when we go up there. And the drums, they are actually responsible for making the signal to the bell tower, so people there know, oh, that's the time. And they start sounding the bell, and every single person in the city of Beijing, they will know what is time. And time is actually really important for everyone, even hundreds of years ago. So do you know how Chinese keep their time? Like,
well,
we keep timing every 2 hours, right?
Oh no, I think I'd heard something about that, but no, I know that water has been used to keep time, and sand and marbles and things like that. But it's like every 2 hours.
Yes. Yes, you're exactly right. We use waters to keep the time down to like the minutes, seconds, so that it's precise. But the bells and drums, as we were saying, it's going to sound every 2 hours. And in some of the other places, not in Beijing, that they are going to sound the bell in the morning and then sound the drums at night. But in Beijing, in Beijing's drum and bell towers, they will sound them like not simultaneously. Of course, first the drum and then
the bells.
And the bells. And the most important sounding they make is each night at 7 o'clock.
Okay, why is that?
Because that's the starting point of the night. When the night starts, they close the gate, the city gate, and everybody goes to rest. And then the other important time they are going to keep is in the middle of the night. It's 3 o'clock.
Okay, so
yes, 3
wouldn't
o'clock.
that wake people up?
Yeah, that's the point, because at 3 o'clock, the politicians, the officials in the city in central Beijing, they're going to rise and they'll get prepared for a meeting with the emperor. And then usually they get up at 3 o'clock and then go to the palace, and their first meeting is at 5 o'clock.
Oh gosh.
Yes, they are hardworking people, right?
Yeah.
So that's why it's so important to always keep the time. Of course, we have drum and towers across China, but as you said, this is one of the best preserved and most important drum and bell towers in China, and they are really important because they are used to keep the timing for even up to the emperor. And we are again at the starting point of the central axis. This is the backbone of the whole of Beijing.
Running this is the most northerly point, isn't it? So it runs north to south.
Yes. So we've both been in Beijing for a while now. We know that the central axis is actually responsible for telling the direction too. So you know what we're facing. Right?
It's a very symmetrical city. Actually, when I first came to Beijing, maybe I'd have a delivery to the compound in which I live, and they'd always say, which gate, north gate or south gate, east gate or west gate? And I'm not used to thinking in north, east, south, west. So I'm like, just the one on the side, But I've since learned to speak in north, east, south, west.
Right, because we have the compass. That's the central. Yes, everything is that. So now we are starting at the northern end of Beijing central axis. That's that makes everything easy to tell. And then we are going to go up the drum tower. It has 2 stories, and we're going to go up a very steep flight of stairs, 69 of them. 69 stairs, but it's over 45 meters tall. And when we go up there and go into the second floor, we will be able to see one of the best view the Central Axis has to offer. And we are also going to be able to see a drumming performance that's really going to take your breath away. So we will go in. We are going to also see a small video about the Central Axis too, but join us later. And also you can take the time to think about all the questions you have about the Central Axis, about the drum and bell towers. We'll get to that later. Okay, so we'll go in that high flight of stairs.
Yes.
I hope we can get it in 1 minute. Only 10 seconds to go. 4, 3. Okay, we are finally here. That's a long 69 flights of stairs. How are you doing?
Yeah, well, it's to be honest, it's probably one of the steepest set of stairs that I've ever been up, and going down looks a little bit tricky as well.
Yeah, so that's. I mean, that actually says something about this structure, right? It's more than 45 meters tall. It's once the tallest building in Beijing, and it has only like 2 stairs, so you have to go all the way.
No, it's one. It's
Oh, yeah.
just one long
way, yes. And we are going to talk to someone, the best person who knows about the preservation, the building, and the meaning of the drum tower, the bell tower, and all the relics of Beijing. He's going to tell us how much effort actually go into making all these things so true to what they were 600 years ago. But as we promised you before, we are here for a spectacular performance of the drums. This, of course, they don't usually happen at this time. It's usually, but they've made it happen for us. Oh, let's do it. Can I 王队长可以留一下，就是我们哦，没事没事。So they are the performers who give us this amazing performance. They usually give it not at this time. Usually it's going to be on the hour, on half an hour. But we have one thing we wanted to ask. 可不可以请我们这个？他说特别想试一试这个敲出来是什么样的情况，可不可以从这边进去，然后让他试试。So Owen, who is coming from Britain and with China Daily, he's going to show us how hard it is to make the sound. Okay, try it. That's fun, but it really sounds different when Wang is doing it. 王队，可不可以跟我们讲一下这个诀窍是什么？要敲出您这个声音，诀
窍是这个前八后16。它这个是这样，这就是前八后16。老师教的这个有乐谱嘛？哦，要有乐谱。对，有这个乐谱啊，对，有乐谱。其实经过老师教我们的。
OK， 您其实敲这个多长时间了？
去年来的。
去年来哦，但是刚才我们觉得真的非常震撼，谢谢您，谢谢您。希望就是除了欧文以外，其他别的外国朋友也有机会看到。So big shout out to Mr. Wang. He's been doing this for at least a year now, and he said, drumming is not that easy. We've been told. The drumming is not easy, and what we have heard in the past 1 minute and 40 seconds, it's not just random. It's rhythmic, it's melodious actually, and it has a meaning. If you have a chance to hear it again, the 1 minute and 40 seconds of drumming, they actually tell the passage of time again. The things they are drumming actually symbolize the 4 seasons in a year. Can you make any sense of that?
If I listen to it again, maybe I might be able to contextualize it. Yeah.
I was told that if we listen to it really closely, we'll be able to recognize that some of the sounds represent the thunders, some of the sounds represent the rain, and some of it sounds like snow falling down, and that is composed by one of China's best drumming artists. And if you are here in鼓楼, in Drum Tower, again, you might be able to catch their performance later. But after that drumming performance, which is specially made for us for this virtual tour, we're going to go really to one of the best view anyone can have about Beijing's central axis. And again, what is the central axis?
Central axis is like a crossroads, like a axis running north to south, east to west, through the center of Beijing, or what was the old city of Beijing. So so this is the most northerly point. So we're heading now. If we look this way now, we can see directly south to Jingshan Park, and then beyond that, the Forbidden Palace.
Yeah, so what we are seeing right now is the central axis of Beijing, and if you've been following us all day long, you already know that we're running a marathon kind of live streaming that goes all the way to the 7.8, almost 8 kilometers long of the central axis that actually houses Beijing's very best and most important architecture, heritage items, and really everything that is core to the Chinese culture. And today we are really, really lucky to be joined by Mr. Hou Zhaonian. He is thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Hou. So a little bit of introduction. Mr. Hou, he is the former director of the Ancient Architecture Research Institute in Beijing, and he is the one who has been involved in the Drumman Tower preservation ever since the mid-1980s. So thank you so much for joining. 谢谢您啊，侯老师今天来参加，和我们那个观众朋友打招呼。
各位网友大家好，我从事了30多年的北京市文物建筑保护工作。宣传保护文化遗产是我们文物保护工作的责任。谢谢大家。
所以今天这其实也是一个节日，但是您那个负担很重啊，其实。
不，这是我们的责任。
好，
因为那个国际宪章要求每个文物保护工作者要向民众阐释他的文物保护的理念。
Okay, so Mr. Hou was saying very welcome to all of you coming with him. He has been involved with cultural preservation, the architecture preservation for more than 30 years now, and he wants us to know that on this special day, the Culture and Historical Heritage Day, that it's his responsibility and his pleasure to be telling you all about the central axis and drum tower. 那我们就来看看这就是中轴线，其实非常标志性的景观了。您可不可以给我们讲讲，就是现在我们都看到的哪些重要的这个建筑啦？
我们现在看的中轴线是中轴线的北端。我们往南看，第一个金碧辉煌的是景山的寿皇殿。
就是最高的那个是吧？
不是，就景山万春亭下头有一个黄色的屋顶，那个是景山的寿皇殿。
Okay, so what we are seeing, the most significant thing we are seeing, it's Jingshan direct from us. Actually 3 kilometers away from us if you measure it, and that's the Jingshan Park and the Shouhuang Hall that overlooks actually the central city. But besides that, the central axis actually houses a lot of things. 但是那个中轴线它其实有接近8000米长。我们这边是最北端，那南端从这边数过来都有哪些就是重要的建筑？
南端我们知道中轴线最早形成于元朝，元朝的中轴线并不长，有4公里长。元朝中轴线最南的是立正门，就是现在的天安门往南50米的地方。元朝中轴线
So Mr. Hou is giving us a little bit of background here. The central axis, as we know it, has been slowly expanding through the years. In the very beginning, in the Yuan dynasty, it's about 4 kilometers long, and extends just a little bit south of the Tiananmen Square, but the Tiananmen. But now it's almost 8 kilometers long, and it starts somewhere including the Temple of Heaven. 像我们现在的中轴线就包括了天坛在内，对吧？
我们现在中轴线是明代形成的，明朝嘉靖年间把中轴线向南延伸到现在永定门的阶段，就把天坛和仙东坛包在了中轴线的两侧。
So So as the central axis slowly expands in the years, it now extends way past the Temple of Heaven and the Temple of Heaven and the Temple of Agriculture. They actually now are placed on two sides of the central axis. So 天坛是在我们左手边，
中轴线的左手边，
中轴线的左手边，先农坛是在右手边。
右手边。
So the Temple of Heaven is on the left, and the Temple of Agriculture is on the right. 这个左右其实也很有讲究，对吧？
很有讲究。那个中国宫廷的这个规定呢，是以这个皇帝的正身为正，以皇帝正身左为左，右为右，面冲南，左为左，右为右，以左为坐北朝南，坐北朝南以左为高，以右为低。
So Mr. Ho told us that there is a whole tradition and that goes into where the temples, the houses are placed. So we're really we're standing facing the south. This is how direction is determined here in China. And on the left, everything is more honorable or better or in higher status than things on the right. So as we said earlier, when the Temple of Heaven is placed on the left, it's considered in status a little bit higher than the Temple of Agriculture. 所以这个左右有这个分别。像我们现在能看到最近的这一条街，也是可以看到左右有不一样的东西，对不对？
这个一条街左右不明显，因为这已经是市民活动的场所了。市民活动场所没有皇家祭祀和办公的场所，所以这个左右没有要求。
So when we say there are difference in the left and right, it's not that obvious where we are because we are actually at a historical marketplace. The Gulou area, the Drum and Bao area, they've been where average people live, and things are mostly more equal in that way. But we are here are able to see some of Beijing's best signature and iconic sites. We're seeing 那边是北海公园，对不对？
北海公园在这边呢。对，这是北海公园。
可以看到北海。
这是北海公园。
白塔。
对，当时北京这个城市建设的布置，就是中国所有古代城市建设的布置，规划是先规划后建设。规划的理念是按照周礼考工记的理念。周礼考工记要求是前朝后市，就在皇宫的前面是皇朝廷办公的场所，后市就是朝廷的后边，皇宫的后面是市场。
So again, a little bit more about where we are and the way the central axis works in dividing the city. Mr. Ho is saying that Chinese urban or city planning in the past, in ancient years, they work on a very strict rule. So usually in the south is the administration, the officials, the place where people work. And where we are at the northern end of central axis, this is where marketing, transactions, trade, and the average people's livelihood go on. So that's how things are designed according to the rules of Chinese city planning in the past. 今天我们是能看到这个中轴线它非常直啊，这一条线这样保持过去。我们也知道这个鼓楼已经在这里600年了。那其实这600年以来，其实这样看上去景观都是差不多的吗？
没有变化，没有任何变化。对，一直是这中轴线保持的一直非常好，就是没有变化。当然中轴线的这个沿线呢，拆除了一些装置，比如说那个十字路口是原来地安门的位置，但是到了清朝以后，皇城就没有用了。我们知道宫城外是皇城，是明朝的建筑，但是到了清朝以后，就皇城就废弃了，人民就搬到皇城里头住去了。所以皇城所以地安门呢，在建国初期的由于影响交通就 拆除了。
Okay. So Mr. Ho was just telling us the central axis, this part we are seeing, it's been here for hundreds of years, for 600 years actually, and the landscape, it's really not that different from years ago. And then when the Qing dynasty that gave way in 1911, people start moving in to what we're seeing to the south, because before, even including where we're standing, it's considered imperial and only the courtly people can come. And again, we're looking at the central axis, we're seeing on the right there is the Beihai Park, the Shichahai, one of the best places in Beijing. And I know, Owen, you actually also know some of the modern things around here, right? You've been here often too.
Well, I mean, as it has been for years. I mean, it's a bustling neighborhood of activity with markets, cafes, beautiful walking streets. There's a Nanluo Guxiang, was a very popular tourist attraction. And every day, any day of the week, you come to the Gulo area and there's people out having fun, relaxing, having a good time.
Yeah, Gulo is one of the best places, even for those who are not that familiar with Central Axis and all the historical stories that go behind it. And really, as Mr. Ho has been telling us, the Gulo area, the Drum Tower area, it's historically for hundreds of years the place where markets, transactions, trade goes on, and it's really, really lively, and it is still here today. It's one of the most popular tourist destinations. You come to Beijing, you have to come to the Gulo area. It's not only because of the towers, the architecture, but also because of the hippie stores and the food, right?
Yeah.
I remember you said we have some of the best food in Beijing around here.
Yeah, I think there's many like Wang Hongdian, so internet famous stores. You can get a whole coconut kind of cut out, and it's like a bubble in your hand, and it's very delicious. But food, which is a big part of everyone's life, plays an important role here. A lot of street food and snacks and things like that.
If we go down there will definitely be that. So this is where people today and hundreds of years ago come out to hang out, to buy things, to try things, to mingle with other people, and they're mostly, as we're seeing, mostly alleyways, and it's been here for hundreds of years. 我们从这边看过去，主要其实就是您说的市的部分，那都有什么特点？
市的部分主要是市民的住宅和市场，它的特点呢就都是以平房为主，而且这个周围保护的还是比较好的，基本是以传统历史建筑为主。没有盖太多的楼房。
So Mr. Ho was saying we are also seeing a very signature civilians' houses around this place, mostly alleyways and courtyards that are typical Beijing style, and they're not very tall. 我们好像是知道说是有一个建筑高度的限制，是吗？
对，北京这个每个文物啊有保护范围和建设控制地带。一般一个古建筑呢，周围保护范围之外呢，都是建设控制地带。一般建设控制地带我们分成1类、2类、3类。1类建设控制地带几高不能超过6米。不能，我们所以现在周围几高，这周围的房脊的高度不能超过6米。
So Mr. Ho was saying because we wanted to protect the ancient architectures. And the way they've been for hundreds of years. So the buildings, even today, also still observe the Asian rules, where here, around the Drum and Bell Tower, nothing can be taller than 6 meters. 那中轴线沿线呢，我们也是不能，就是也有这个要求，是吧？
中轴线沿线全都是保护范围和建设控制地带。中轴线的沿线包括整个天坛、故宫是世界文化遗产，全都有保护范围和建设控制地带。所以在中轴线沿线的房屋高度，不仅高度严格控制，而且建筑的体量、风格，色彩全都严格控制。
所以都是跟这个历史上
历史环境不能被破坏。
Okay.
现在呢，被破坏的历史环境在逐渐的恢复。
Okay. So Mr. Ho was saying the whole idea today on culture preservation is that everything has to keep looking the way they used to. So that's why we are able now to see the drum and bell tower preserved in this way, and all the things, the civilian houses, they also look like what they used to look in hundreds of years ago. And then, 侯老师，您就是参与这个文物的保护修缮已经30多年了，就是这个鼓楼。那这30年来，这个变化大吗？
鼓楼这30年的变化很小，因为文物保护有一个原则，就是保持它的原始状态，保持它的历史信息。我们保护文物不是要修成新的，而是要保持它，就是保持它的益寿延年。
So Mr. Ho told us he has been involved in the preservation of Drum and Bell Tower ever since the mid-1980s. And he said very, very little has changed for the two buildings because all the experts, all the people involved, what they've been aiming is that to keep things as they were. 我们现在看到其实就是这个最好的，其实看到钟楼的景观了。这个钟楼我们当然现在进不去，但是它看上去其实跟那个鼓楼的外观就不一样。
钟楼的结构和鼓楼完全不一样。钟楼的结构是砖石结构，它的整个建筑没有一块木头。它是通过中国传统的拱券结构来把房顶搭上去的。这种拱券结构在欧洲也是最经常用的，非常经常。就是它的台基下面有一个十字的拱券，4个门是十字拱券。台基上面的房子有一个门是十字拱券。
它也是北京最高的这个砖石。
北京最高的建筑。
Okay. So, the bell tower we are seeing right across us, this almost 50 meters tall. This is the tallest in within the second ring court, and then it's made wholly with bricks and rocks as compared to the drum tower where we're at. The drum tower is made of wood. So that's really difficult when you think about it. We have a 600-year-old wooden architecture that's been standing here for such a long time, and for the last 30 years without too much of a change. 所以那其实我们看到，那砖可以理解它可以坚持的时间比较长，但是像我们这个木结构，它能坚持这个600年，也没有什么变化，这个非常不容易啊。
这是我们中国古建筑结构的一个特点，就是它通过榫卯结构和通过那个抬梁架，整个房子柱子承托着整个的屋顶，墙不承重，所以没有墙，所以在柱子之间都是那什么，都是门和窗。这个墙呢也不承重，这墙只是起维护作用。
Okay, so Mr. Ho just went into a little bit of Chinese ancient architecture 101. He said Chinese architecture, especially the wooden architecture, are really, really special because they are connected with a kind of linking technique that uses no nail, no hammering, and they are able to stand strong. And then Chinese ancient wooden architecture, the walls, they don't have support. Those don't support weight. And one of the things we've known is that the Chinese wooden architectures, when they are built and erected, they are using very special materials. 而且您之前有讲过，像包括我们的柱子，像我们的建筑用的材料，当然都是木头，然后还有其他一些非常特别的东西。
我们首先讲的这个中国传统建筑结构的这个连接，叫榫卯连接。这种榫卯连接呢，富有弹性。和这个柔性，所以对它可以稍微的有些允许晃动，所以这可以抵御地震波的晃动。
Okay, another key key feature of Chinese ancient architecture, if we look at the beams, we'll notice that they are linked again without nails, without any hammering. They are linked on a very stable but resilient structure. And it's so resilient that even earthquakes will not really shake it down. 您说它可以 如果就算是有地震，它也不会裂，也不会。
这个历经600年，600年咱们经历了很多次地震，包括唐山大地震，这个建筑基本没动。
Wow, another architectural feat. So Chinese ancient architectures like this one, like the drum tower, they are, because of the way they are linked together, they are built together, they are able to withstand earthquakes as strong as the Tangshan earthquake more than 40 years ago. That was an almost 8 magnitude earthquake, and even with that, none of this really moved. 所以真的是600年以来，这个建筑
完全维持原样，
因
为我们文物保护的责任就是把真实的历史信息传给子孙万代，我们不能随便干涉它，所以文物保护叫少干涉，就是维持原状。
Okay, so again, Mr. Ho is saying the drum tower, as we've been seeing today, for the last 600 years, it's pretty much the same. It's amazing, right? And then we've also talked to Mr. Ho, who is responsible, who know everything about this tower. One of the things he has been telling us is that preserving or keeping everything the way they are is not easy. 所以说，您之前也提到过，包括维护、修缮这些东西，其实是很费劲的，因为我们就是要以原来的方式，
对，完全的传统材料，进行维护和修缮。
我们是
完全是传统材料，
看到这些也都是就是传统，
完全是传统材料，传统材料、传统工艺、传统的形制，一点不能用现代材料代替。所以呢，大家可以看到，我们这个有一个传统材料，破损的地方。
Okay, so we have one teaching spot well, it's left a little bit dilapidated, but that's because it's here to show us how everything is as they were. 所以这些都是传统的材料。
传统材料，这个传统材料的目的是隔断空气对木头的侵蚀。因为北京呢，冬天和夏天空气湿度变化很大，所以木头呢的含水量引起它的胀裂。我们通过这种传统材料把空气隔断，木头就不会产生胀裂。
So he was telling that there are several layers in this column, and this is done because we want to adjust to the climate to where Beijing is. We know that the material expands or shrinks in different climates in winter and summer, so that several layers of it ensures that it is still resilient, it is still strong even after 600 years. 而且您还说，就是它的那个材料其实全都是自然的，
全都是自然材料。这个传统材料怎么制作的？用猪血做粘接剂，用砖灰，这是砖灰，把砖磨成面儿，白面，桐油，这几种物质和在一块儿，每一个物质都有它的作用。比如说猪血是粘接剂。
好，对吧？我们看完这个以后，待会儿还去看看这个大柱子。But Mr. Ho was saying that everything here, every wooden part of this, they are all natural. The materials are all natural. He was saying we were using pig's blood for glue, and we also have tree oil to patch everything up. So everything is not natural and organic. And even this we're seeing, this is a whole tree trunk, right? 这是一整个树干，对不对？
整的木头，这个木头都是明朝初年从云贵山高原几千年的金丝楠木和楠木或者杉木运到北京。现在没有这么粗的木头了，都是上千年的木头。
Yes, and every corner of this is royal, is courtly. They're one of the best. This column we are seeing actually comes from a very hard to find whole tree trunk coming out from thousands of kilometers in southwest China. And back then, everything that's good, that's courtly, that's precious, come into Beijing, come into the imperial city to make it the center of the whole country. And as we are seeing, well, now we are facing west, right? 那现在我们这边看到的就是朝西的方向。这边有什么特殊？
这边在历史上也都是市民和市场居住的场所，没有任何的皇家的这个宫廷建筑和皇家的官廷建筑。包括什刹海过去都是市民活动场所，没有皇家的。那北海是皇家园林，这边什刹海和这一片都是市民活动场所，都是市民的活动场所。
And again, that we are facing the west right now, and this is still another part of the civilian, the markets around the drum and bell towers area for hundreds of years. People enjoying themselves here, and if we look a little bit away from it, we'll be able to tell how the capital Beijing is special. We are able to see we can see the CCTV tower from the west here, and it's really one of the best places for strolling around. There's the Beihai Park to our left, and this is still what it was looking 600 years ago. 您刚才有特别讲到，就是包括我们用这些传统的材料，包括我们要用这些传统的这个建筑修建方法，都是为了要保存原来的信息。那今天刚好也是这个文化遗产日，您也做这一行很长时间了，能不能跟我们讲讲，就是这一行就是有没有工作的原则？
我们文物保护的工作原则就是忠实的保存历史信息，这是我们的工作原则。我们和新建筑和现仿古建筑不一样，仿古建筑就是通过它的智慧和技巧把建筑建得非常美，而我们的责任是让建筑保持原状。
这不是美啊，
不是美，是让建筑保持历史原状。
Okay, so Mr. Ho, who is an expert with Beijing's ancient architecture and heritage protection, he's been telling us the work they've been doing is to preserve all things the way as they are. They are not working for beauty. They are not working for effects. What they want to do is to preserve the things, to let them look as they are, and they want to renovate or keep them and furnish them the way as they are. 所以我有一个问题啊，我想问，那我们这600年用您说的这个传统的办法修缮修复，它现在很好，但是以后呢，它这样的修建方法，它还能坚持600年吗？
用这样的修建方法，应该是还能坚持600年，因为在中国古建筑的木头，只要是房屋不漏，木头上千年都没关系。木头只要在干燥的情况下，它的寿命要比钢筋水泥强。我们钢筋水泥的规范是100年，我们木头硬线木塔1000多年了。1000
多年，哇
！70米，一点事儿没有。
Okay, Mr. Ho said, well, the Drum and Bell Tower has been here for 600 years with little change. He is confident that another 600 years it will still be this way because, believe it or not, wood is more stable and resilient than cement and probably bricks. He said the criteria when everything starts with this wooden architecture is that they will be standing here for at least 1000 years. 所以1000年以后它还会在这里。
还会在这里，但是必须保证经常修缮，不让它漏。我们的责任呢，就是保证这古建筑延年益寿，而不是返老还童。
Okay, that's really. Mr. Ho said, like a person, the architecture gets old, but it is possible to be healthy and old. They can look aged, but they will still be here in 1000 years. So this is amazing. 所以除了我们的这个钟鼓楼，其实整个中轴线其实也是用这个理念。
整个北京的文物保护单位都是用这个理念修缮的，不光是中轴线的皇家建筑，还是普通的四合院，只要是列为文物保护单位，都是按这个理念来修缮和保护的。
所以其实哪怕1000年以后，其实可能周围还是
这个状态。我们的工作就是这个责任，就是这个责任。
谢谢您。So Mr. Ho was saying not only the Drum and Bell Tower, not only everything along the central axis, everything, as long as it has historical significance, they will be preserved. They will be protected in the old way and to remain how they were looking hundreds of years ago. And then that is how things are going to be able to keep this way for 1,000 years. And now we have just walked around the second story of the drum and bell tower, and we have come to a really great vintage viewpoint. And we know a lot of people have been sending us questions about the drum tower, about the central axis, and now we can get to it. Owen, you have that. I'll take it.
I've got one here. I've got a question here. What role do you think the Natural and Cultural Heritage Day will play in the further preservation of places like the drum tower?
刚才就是有一个网友提问，想问一下，今天是这个这个文化遗产日，这为什么需要有这一天，一个这么特殊的一天来让大家了解这个事儿？您觉得会发生有什么样的作用？
这个是我那个文化遗产有一个叫《文化遗产保护阐释与展示宪章》，这个宪章要求所有的文物保护工作者要向广大市民或者向广大民众宣传、阐释和展示文化遗产保护知识。
所以这一天主要是给您的。
所以呢，我们就利用定了这一天来向社会宣传文物保护和文化遗产保护知识。
Mr. Ho said the day that the National Cultural and Historical Heritage Day, this is a day not only for us but also for them, the people who has been working to preserve history. They want to take this day, people like him, to tell us about what things were and why it is so important to have things remain what they were for hundreds and thousands of years. And what else?
Also, I've got a question here. How important is it passing on the importance of preservation to the younger generations, the next generations?
他想问一下，就是对年轻一代来说，他们现在对文物保护的意识和他们能做的事情有哪些？
年轻的人对文物保护意识主要是接受宣传，增加对文物的热爱，和增加对这个文化遗产的热爱。对文物和文化遗产的热爱是和经济生活息息相关的。在我年轻的时候做文物工作的时候，人们对文物的热情非常低，因为那时候经济生活不像现在这么富裕。但是经过了这个30年的改革开放，经过了人民生活物质水平的不断提高，人们追求精神生活的意识越来越这个强烈。所以保护文化遗产现在的北京市民达成共识。现在我们要去保护遗产，市民都非常欢迎。
So actually, Mr. Ho told us a little bit of his experience when he was young and he was first in the industry, in the business of preserving everything. Back then, people didn't really know that, wow, this is the heritage item that we should cherish, because back then people were comparatively poor. They were still fighting for their livelihood, so they don't really have the resources and the mind to protect everything as they are. But as people have a better life and they come to treasure their identity, their history, and even young people today, they are really, they kind of have the consensus that the things that are old are not bad. Instead, they should be cherished. That's what Mr. Ho's own experience. And do you have anything else? I think we have time for 2 more questions.
Okay, I've got a silly one here. Do the local residents ever complain about the noise from the drumming?
他想问，就是鼓楼他会敲钟敲鼓，那周围的人他们不会觉得烦吗？
现在鼓楼敲钟敲鼓主要是表演。他在夜里头就是5点以后就不敲了，
就不像原来那样，
不像原来也是夜里敲，
对
原来夜里敲，他是这样敲，鼓楼是7点敲一次 凌晨3点敲一次，平常也不敲。
好的 ，So Mr. Ho was saying what one huge difference between now and before is that we don't chime the bells, we don't do the drumming at night, and it's only for performance, so that people are not going to be annoyed by the sounds in the middle of the night. And one last question from our social media platforms.
Let me have a look here. Okay. How important do you think the role that the government is playing in promoting more initiatives to promote preservation and things like that?
黄老师，我们的问题是，政府最近也投入了很大的力气，就是他其实做了一些哪一些举措？您觉得真的对保护文物遗产这个特别有效？
政府对就是文物保护投了非常大力气。首先有一个规划，这个规划就把北京的文物保护做了一个规定，就是规划上就给控制住了北京的文物保护。首先有一句话叫“北京老城一个不能拆”，这样的话就把北京老城的建筑控制住了，在逐渐的投入资金修复文物保护单位，恢复历史风貌，逐渐把北京恢复成优秀的历史文化名城。
So Mr. Ho was saying the single most important thing the government, well, it has been doing a lot of things, but the government had set a principle to culture and historical heritage preservation. And with that idea, we start from the idea, everything would have to keep the way they are. And because you started from such a principle, everything else, all the other measures will work to achieve the goal to preserve things as they are. And of course, the Central Axis, we all know it, it's one of the best preserved and best places that you can see the philosophy of city planning, of everything it symbolizes too. So this is the iconic view of the Central Axis. We've been at the northern end of the Central Axis in the drum and bell towers. This Central Axis is, again, it's almost 8 kilometers long, and we're at the northern end. 我们又回到了这个中轴线，然后像您说的，就是中轴线它除了有这个左右，然后它这个布局以外，它其实也是这个中国哲学的一个缩影，对不对？居中等等。
对，中国这个中轴线的设计，和中轴线的布置是和中国的哲学思想有关。中国的哲学思想就是，皇帝是全中国的中心，皇帝是大一统，所有的就是一切都是由皇帝统一来掌握，所以主要的建筑都布置在中轴线上，来建立皇帝大一统的威严。
Okay. So again, we've been spending the past hour, actually several hours, if you've been joining us on the marathon live streaming on Beijing Central Axis. Mr. Ho just told us the Central Axis, it's not just a thoroughfare that links all of the most important architectures and places together. It also symbolizes a Chinese philosophy. We have a center for everything. 而且像您之前也有讲过，这个中轴线，当然北京这个是保护的可能最好的，但是其他地方也是有这样的这个建筑哲学在。
中国所有的建筑都有一条中轴线，无论四合院，无论宫殿，无论陵墓，无论寺庙，都有一根中轴线，中轴线是主要建筑在这个中轴线上布置，两边建筑对称配置，两边建筑尺寸完全一样。这个就是中国这个大一统思想在各个领域的体现。就大一统，这是最重要的。
没错。So Mr. Ho was saying it's not just city, it's not just the capital cities or average cities that has a central axis that goes through the center of the place. Every house, a civilian house, a courtly house, a 四合院, everything actually, they also have an axis that shows where the center is, how things are aligned, and that is really the philosophy in everything in China. We wanted to know where a center is, and that center has control over everything that goes around it. And so here we are, we've spent an hour in Beijing's drum and bell towers, and today we're really lucky to have been joined by Mr. Hou Zhangnian. He is the former director of the Beijing's Ancient Architecture Institute, and he is part of the preservation team that has been working on this drum and bell tower for the last 30 years. 所以今天我们就是非常感谢侯老师能够参加我们的直播，也谢谢您对我们的讲解。那您有没有最后一句想要告诉就是观众的话？
就我从事30多年的文物保护工作，我觉得文物保护在社会生活中越来越重要。因为它呢是保持我们的精神生活，保持中华民族文脉的物质证明。因为我们中国历史文字汗牛充栋，要有实物证明，使我们中国的文字历史成为可信的历史。
So Mr. Hou was saying that with the things we see, we actually get the spirits or the philosophy behind all of this, and it's so important to preserve all the architecture or the layout or the idea that goes so deep in the Chinese history. 所以再次感谢您，谢谢侯老师，谢谢。So that also brings us to the end of the live streaming. We've been at the northern end and the starting point of the central axis at the Drum and Bell Tower. We toured around it. We see how the imperial city did its timekeeping for hundreds of years. At least 600 years ago, it has been doing this way, and everything has been felt this way. I really enjoyed it. How about you?
Yeah, it was a real privilege and honor to be given a personal tour from Mr. Hou around here, and to see this great historic site in the middle of modern Beijing. You wouldn't think it to look around you with all of the greenery and the old buildings. You wouldn't think that you're in the middle of a very modern city.
Right, exactly. And even though we've both been here a few times before, it still amazes us how these are standing here for hundreds of years, and they will still be here hundreds of years later. And with that, that's the end of our live streaming. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm CGTN Sun Ye.
And I'm Owen Fishwick from China Daily.
We'll leave you finally with the iconic central axis look coming from the Drum and Bell Tower. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.